You ready for some surprisingly profound advice? We're diving deep into the world of bear wisdom.
Bear wisdom.
You heard right.
Yeah.
You sent in an excerpt from The Bear in a Safari Hat, a novel with a character named Furry O'Mara who dispenses advice
Oh, interesting.
with a positive twist.
I like it already.
So Furry's first nugget of wisdom to his nephew is all about teamwork.
Okay.
He says, work hard, build a good team, and stay away from negative bears.
Sounds pretty solid.
Seems like solid advice whether you have fur or not, right?
It absolutely is. You know, studies have shown that high-performing teams often have strong emotional intelligence. That means they're aware of their own emotions and those of others. That stay away from negative bears part, that's
Right.
about protecting that positive team dynamic.
Makes sense. And then he gets into some seriously practical advice. Listen to your workers, assume nothing, and don't throw bazookas at blades of grass.
Okay.
I love that visual. It really drives the point home.
It does. Think about it this way. The bazooka represents your time and energy, and those blades of grass are the minor tasks that can distract us from the bigger picture.
Right.
You could even tie this to the Pareto principle, which states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts.
Interesting.
Furry's advice encourages us to identify that crucial 20% and focus our bazookas there.
So how do we figure out which tasks are the bazookas and which are the blades of grass?
Prioritization is key. That's where tools like the Eisenhower matrix come in.
Right.
It helps you categorize tasks by urgency and importance so you can see what needs your immediate attention and what can be delegated or eliminated altogether.
I love those practical tools. It's like Furry's giving us a framework for success, but it's up to us to fill in the details.
Exactly. He's laying the foundation, and from there we can apply these concepts to our individual goals and situations.
Okay, next up, Furry gets all inspirational on us. Believe in your dreams. The most wondrous sight on this planet is when the wheels of an aircraft leave the ground. It was all down to bears who believed it could be done.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a powerful image.
The key here is understanding that skepticism and doubt are natural, but they can't be allowed to paralyze us. Think of any major innovation from airplanes to the internet. None of them would exist if the creators had listened to the naysayers.
So how can we cultivate that unwavering belief in our own dreams, even when faced with doubt?
It starts with developing a growth mindset,
Okay.
a term coined by psychologist Carol Dweck. It essentially means believing that your abilities aren't fixed, but rather they can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's about embracing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than seeing them as threats.
That shift in perspective is so powerful. And Furry doesn't shy away from the fact that achieving those dreams takes more than just belief. He says, you must also pursue your dreams and never let another bear tell you otherwise. So think big, set goals, and don't be afraid of failure. Remember that you learn more from defeat than victory.
He's highlighting the importance of action and resilience. Setting goals gives you a roadmap and provides a sense of direction.
Yeah.
And that bit about failure, it's about reframing those experiences as learning opportunities. Each setback provides valuable data that you can use to adjust your approach and come back stronger.
Now, this next piece of advice really made me stop and think.
Okay.
When you get up in the morning, don't think I'm the oldest I've ever been. Instead, remind yourself that you've never been so experienced, but at the same time, you're the youngest that you're ever going to be. That's a real mind shift.
It is, and it ties into cognitive reframing, which is a technique used in therapy to help people change their thinking patterns.
Oh, right.
In this case, Furry's encouraging us to focus on the positives of aging, the experience and wisdom we've gained. He's reminding us that each day is a new opportunity for growth, and that it's never too late to pursue our passions.
So it's about making the most of the present moment, right?
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, but this advice encourages us to savor the now, to appreciate the journey and embrace the opportunities that each day brings.
That's a great reminder. But Furry also throws in a dose of reality, reminding us that this planet spins on a tilted axis. It's not a meritocracy. There's corruption, ego, avarice, and all sorts of shenanigans going on out there to contend with.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's saying, hey, it's not always going to be easy.
He's acknowledging that the world can be a complex and challenging place.
Yeah.
We're all going to encounter setbacks and injustices. The key is to develop a sense of resilience and stay true to our values, even when faced with adversity.
So how do we reconcile that awareness of the world's imperfections with Furry's earlier advice about pursuing our dreams and maintaining a positive outlook?
It's about finding that balance between optimism and realism.
Okay.
We can be aware of the challenges without letting them extinguish our hope or dampen our enthusiasm. It's about developing a discerning eye, recognizing the shenanigans, while still choosing to focus on the good.
And Furry follows that up with some powerful advice about self-respect.
Okay.
So no matter what may happen, keep your pride and dignity, son. Never be anybody's doormat. It is better to stand on poor paws than to bend on rich knees.
Wow.
That's a statement that resonates deeply.
It certainly does, and it speaks to the importance of setting boundaries and knowing your worth. Sometimes that means walking away from situations or relationships that compromise your values or sense of self.
It's about standing firm in your convictions, even when it's difficult.
Exactly. And Furry's reminding us that true wealth isn't measured by material possessions, but by our integrity and self-respect.
Now, this next bit of advice is particularly intriguing.
Why?
Beware of the little ones. Adults with little minds. They gossip and meddle. They never see the bigger picture in life.
Oh, boy.
It seems like a pretty strong warning.
It is, and it's something we can all relate to. He's talking about those individuals who thrive on drama, negativity, and limited thinking.
Right.
They can be incredibly draining and can hold you back from achieving your full potential.
So how do we avoid getting pulled into their orbit?
Right.
How do we protect ourselves from those little minds?
It starts with being mindful of the company you keep. Surround yourself with people who are positive, supportive, and growth-oriented. Those who inspire you to be your best self and who challenge you to think critically.
It's about creating a supportive and inspiring ecosystem for yourself.
Absolutely. And it's not about judging those with little minds, but rather recognizing that their energy may not be conducive to your own growth and well-being. You can choose to engage with them on a limited basis or distance yourself entirely depending on the situation.
And finally, Furry brings it back to something incredibly important. One last point. Don't forget to enjoy yourself. After all, that's the meaning of life. Remember to let your fur down on a regular basis. Find your buttons and enjoy pressing them.
Love that.
I love how he reminds us to have fun and embrace our individuality.
He's highlighting the importance of finding joy and celebrating what makes you unique.
Yeah.
It's about pursuing your passions, exploring your interests, and allowing yourself to let loose and have fun.
It's about embracing those things that make you feel alive and energized.
Exactly. It's about finding your own version of pressing your buttons and making sure you make time for those things that bring you joy and fulfillment.
You know, it's interesting how Furry emphasizes that line between success and failure. He says, whoever said that there's a thin line between success and failure was telling a lie. In truth, it's a wafer thin line that separates success and failure, and most of us traverse that invisible trapeze throughout our entire lives.
That invisible trapeze is a powerful image.
Right.
It reminds me of the concept of anti-fragility, which we've discussed before.
Right.
It's the idea that some things actually benefit from stress and disorder. You can think of it like this. A muscle gets stronger when you put stress on it. It adapts and grows. The same principle can apply to our careers, our relationships, even our personal development.
So instead of fearing failure,
Right.
we should embrace those challenges as opportunities to become more resilient.
Exactly. It's about adopting that growth mindset and recognizing that setbacks are an inevitable part of the journey.
Yeah.
It's how we respond to those setbacks that truly matters.
And speaking of challenges, Furry gets pretty real about the role of money.
Okay.
He tells his nephew, don't let any bear tell you that money isn't important in this world. The money in your pocket represents the doves of financial freedom, like it or not. That's where your next mug of honey tea is coming from. Get used to that fact.
He's acknowledging the practical reality that we live in a world where money is necessary for survival and for accessing many of the things that contribute to a comfortable life. But notice how he frames it, those doves of financial freedom. He's not saying money is the only thing that matters, but it does provide options and a sense of security.
And he puts it into perspective, saying that even $1 million is only 1,000. It's not a lot. It's buttons, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
I love that it reminds us not to get too caught up in the numbers game.
It's a great reminder that wealth is relative.
Yeah.
What's considered a lot of money to one person may be a drop in the bucket to another. And focusing solely on accumulating wealth can lead to a sense of emptiness if you're not also prioritizing other important aspects of life, like relationships, purpose, and personal growth.
This brings us back to that theme of self-respect that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Furry says, so no matter what may happen, keep your pride and dignity, son. Never be anybody's doormat. It is better to stand on poor paws than to bend on rich knees.
This is such a powerful statement, and it's
Yeah.
something we should all take to heart. It's about recognizing that your worth is not tied to your financial status.
hmm
You deserve respect and dignity regardless of your income or material possessions.
So it's about knowing your values and not compromising them for the sake of financial gain or to please others.
Exactly. And it's also about setting boundaries in your relationships and in your work life.
Right.
You have the right to say no to things that don't align with your values or
Yeah.
that make you feel uncomfortable.
And if we connect this back to Furry's earlier advice about avoiding those adults with little minds,
Yeah.
it seems like he's encouraging us to create a circle of people who respect and value us for who we are, not for what we have.
That's a great observation. The people you surround yourself with have a huge impact on your self-perception and your overall well-being. Choose to be around those who lift you up, who encourage your growth, and who respect your boundaries.
So as we're navigating this invisible trapeze of life, Furry's reminding us to stay true to ourselves, to prioritize our values, and to find those people who support and inspire us along the way.
And he also reminds us to have fun.
Oh, wait.
He tells his nephew, one last point. Don't forget to enjoy yourself. After all, that's the meaning of life. Remember to let your fur down on a regular basis, find your buttons, and enjoy pressing them.
It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and forget to make time for the things that bring us joy.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
If you were to write your own personal mission statement for your life, what would it say? Would it be all about work and achievements, or would it also include things like spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, traveling, or simply enjoying quiet moments of reflection?
I think Furry's advice encourages us to find those things that make us feel alive and make them a priority.
Exactly. He's reminding us that life is meant to be savored, not just endured. It's about finding that balance between work and play, responsibility and joy.
And it's about recognizing that those buttons, those things that bring us joy, are different for everyone.
Absolutely. What lights one person up may bore another. The key is to explore, to experiment, and to discover those things that make you feel truly alive and energized.
This has been such a fascinating exploration of Furry's advice. We've covered so much ground,
Yeah.
from teamwork and goal setting to self-respect and the importance of finding joy. Is there anything else you want to highlight before we wrap up?
I think it's worth emphasizing that even though the source of this advice is a fictional bear,
Right.
the underlying principles are universal and timeless. These are truths that have resonated with people for centuries.
It's a reminder that wisdom can come from the most unexpected places.
And that sometimes the simplest stories can hold the most profound truths.
So as we wrap up our deep dives into Furry O'Mara's wisdom,
Yeah.
what stands out to you as the most significant takeaway for our listener?
I think for me, it's the emphasis on balance. Furry encourages us to balance hard work with enjoyment, ambition, with humility and awareness of the world's complexities, with a commitment to our own values.
It's like he's giving us a framework
Yeah,
for navigating life's ups and downs.
Yeah.
He's not saying it's going to be easy,
right.
but he is saying that we have the power to choose how we respond to those challenges.
And that power comes from understanding ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses, our values, and what truly brings us joy.
And it sounds like Furry's also saying that finding that joy
Yeah,
is an essential part of the journey.
absolutely. It's not just about achieving goals and checking things off a list.
Right.
It's about savoring the experiences along the way,
Yeah.
the connections we make, the lessons we learn, and the moments that make us feel truly alive.
I think that's something we can all benefit from hearing.
Yeah,
It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success
right.
and forget that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
And that destination, that idea of success is going to look different for everyone. That's why Furry's emphasis on individuality is so important.
Right.
He's encouraging us to define success on our own terms, not based on societal expectations or external validation.
So to our listener out there, as you reflect on Furry's advice,
Yeah.
what resonates with you the most? Which piece of wisdom will you carry with you as you navigate your own invisible trapeze?
Maybe it's the reminder to build a strong team and surround yourself with positive influences.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it's the encouragement to embrace failure as a learning opportunity, or to prioritize those things that bring you joy.
Right?
Whatever it is, we hope this deep dive has sparked some new insights and inspired you to approach life with a renewed sense of purpose and a touch of that berry wisdom.
Thanks for joining us on this wild and insightful adventure into the world of bear advice. Remember, work hard, dream big, stay true to yourself, and never forget to let your fur down and have some fun along the way.